Hello, welcome. I am talking to you today about telling you some of the story about my own loss and why I do what I do, because I think it's a really important piece of why I'm here. It's been 25 years for me. It happened in 1999. We had two little boys, and our third pregnancy was twin girls. And we got a really great report on Tuesday. I remember my doctor saying, "You have a textbook pregnancy for twins." So I felt I rested pretty comfortably in that. And everything was going really well. I felt great. There was lots of movement going on. We were really excited. We were getting ready because commonly twins can come early. That's not unusual. And then by that Friday, it was Halloween. And I took my little boys out trick-or-treating, and I was tired. I was really tired, but of course I was. I didn't really think too much about it. And I went to bed, and the next morning when I got up, I realized there was no movement. And so I did all of the things. I did the orange juice, the laying down, the getting up and moving, and trying to do all the things that you know you're supposed to do. And I called the doctor, and they were just like, "Yeah, sure, come on in at 2:00. So I waited a good part of the afternoon, probably knowing my worst fear in my head, but didn't want to admit it to myself. But I went to the doctor, drove myself there, and had a sonogram. I could tell something was not right. She went and got the doctor. You always know that's not good when they go get the doctor, and he said, "Well, we're not really seeing a lot of movement, but let's send you to the hospital because their machines are even more sensitive. Maybe they can see something we're not." I think he just maybe didn't want to give me the final verdict there himself. So I drove to the hospital myself. My husband was working at the hospital. He worked in an emergency at that time. And so he met me there. We went into the sonogram and got the official news that there were no heartbeats for either one. So then begins the process of what do you do? Well, what do you do? Now I have to, and the shock of now I have to deliver these babies, and now I have to go through all of these things that I never imagined. And so we did it. We went home that night to tell our boys to get things ready to start inducing the next day. They really wanted me to deliver naturally because it's maybe it's less recovery, certainly, maybe slightly less traumatic. I don't know. But it didn't work. So I did 3 full days of induction in the hospital, and at the end of the third day, at probably 11:30 at night, I said, "That's it. I need this over. I need to somehow get started on the rest of my life and put this behind me. Let's do another." My first 2 were C-sections, so it wasn't unusual to me. I was hoping to avoid it, but I did. I had a C-section for babies that I never got to bring home. So then I came home, and it was really hard to try to just get back to normal. You think you're just going to get back to normal, and time heals all wounds, right? And everyone was giving me the most amazing advice, not. And I really tried hard to put it back together, and there was no support. So this is the part of why I do what I do, because I have realized that there's not much more support now than there was 25 years ago. And even the support options that are available are not really great ones. They're not typically led by people who've ever experienced this themselves. And so that's why I created the things that I do, the coaching, the programs that I have, is because I know that there is a need for some real advice, some real help from someone who's been there themselves. And it's the thing that I wanted the very most after my twins died, was to find other people who this happened to. I found so much comfort and hope in them. And I loved hearing their stories and how did they go on? What did they do to remember their babies? What did they do in the days afterwards? Like, how do you fill this big gap of this time and energy that you were going to spend having two babies at once, or even one, or whatever? Just how do you fill that gap? It's just so huge and so unknown and so scary. And so that's really what I want more than anything, is for women to not feel that, not feel scared like that ever again. It's so isolating and so lonely. And so I chose to just try to pack it away. It was not good. No one benefited from that. My family definitely suffered through a lot of my trying to just pretend things were okay. And I got very busy. I kept myself so busy that I went to bed exhausted at night, because that was the way I didn't have to face the pain, because I was so exhausted. It was not there. And then it started taking a toll on me physically. It started really challenging so many areas of my life. And I just knew that I needed something different. And I had a life coach who changed my life and really showed me that talking to yourself better, allowing yourself to forgive yourself, finding ways to deal with the stress or the triggers when they come, not thinking that you're going to deal with it a different day or just ignore it, but dealing with it as they come. That those strategies were life-changing for every part of my life, not just in dealing with the loss of my baby. So that's what I focus on teaching my clients. I love to help them deal with guilt. And we deal with guilt, and we deal with shame, we deal with relationship issues. There are so many areas of your life that can be improved by finding the right help. But that's a little bit about me, why I do what I do. I have a free ebook that I wrote that is the 10 answers to the questions that no one prepares you for, because no one even imagines that this will be the outcome of your pregnancy. And if you are struggling and that's something that you really could benefit from, it's those thoughts that come up in your mind all the time. Like, what about, what are my partner and I grieve differently? How do I help that? It's the questions I hear all the time. What about my faith? How do I tell people? How do I go back to work after this? And it just gives you a little insight, and there's little strategies to help with each one. If you're interested in that, downloading it for free, just comment the word guide and I will send you the link. So thank you for joining me here today. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.